You performed CPR on a patient who had OD'd?
Correct. While I was in there, one of the nurses ended up running out while I was at the front desk with the PA I was shadowing. Nurse ran out and had said that the patient was coding. We all kind of ran in there together. At first I was, in the very back and just kind of watching everything that was going on. They ended up calling the code on her and pulling everybody out of the room and stopping the medications and everything. And I was still in there with the doctor, and her heart started contracting again, and then that's at which time he told me to go ahead and start CPR. Now, that was not the doctor that I was not shadowing, and he did not know my position or why I was really there, unless somebody else had told him, but I never actually had any interaction prior to that.
How were you dressed during this? You had on scrubs?
Correct, yeah, there was scrubs.
And a white coat?
During some, most of the time that I was there, I had like a little short lab coat on.
Yeah, and you had a stethoscope?
There was a stethoscope, yep.
And you'd go listen to people's hearts? And
only under their supervision. I was never released by myself. I was always either with somebody. But as far as, if one of the PAs ended up telling me to have a listen, that was on occasion that I would listen to the breath sounds.
Yeah, and you made a point that the white coat was a little shorter because the doctor's coats were a little longer?
Right.
And so your point is, well, mine was a little shorter, so I wasn't pretending to be a doctor. I had on a shorter white coat. I had on like a badge and a white coat and a stethoscope in the ER, but it was shorter than the other coats, so therefore, come on, guys, it was shorter.
Well, that's usually what the students end up wearing.
Right.
I know either way, there's no justification to it whatsoever.
But apparently there is. And that's what I'm trying to figure out is what you think about this.
Right.
Because having worked in the healthcare delivery system for most of my life, I see this situation that you got caught up in that just spiraled out of control is outrageously dangerous. It's just outrageously dangerous. It's all fine as long as everything's going okay, but if you get into a critical situation where a critical decision has to be made and a critical action be taken in a short period of time, and there's somebody that you assume has the training to play their part, and in fact they don't, it can break down really bad really quick.
Yes, sir.
And so I'm just wondering if you see it that way.
Absolutely. I mean, now I do.
Because you're kind of saying like, it wasn't a big a deal. It was just, it's kind of.
Yeah, I mean, now as I look back, I mean, of course, it was, of course, the worst decision that I've, ever made. It's going to affect me for the rest of my life. But being 16 in the hospital and my mind was not developed as it is now. So going back, of course, I wouldn't think that, if somebody did ask me to do something and I felt pressured, of course, I would,
Yeah.
end up doing it.